quick look at this. This is the Delta Pro Ultra, so this is the new one. So let's just take a look at it, kind of watch the video, see what, see what they got to say. Now, obviously, this being a Delta, it's interesting that they kind of went with this new design, but kept that Delta name, right? I mean, this has kind of been the one thing that's, I think, held back the Delta Pro really was the fact that they were just so, they were just so committed to that design that, for really a large, heavy, 100-pound unit, it just wasn't ideal for really home backup and, situations where you're probably just going to be leaving it stationary for the most part, right? But I guess the appeal was, if you did need to move it, it was, it was quite portable. So it's interesting that now they're kind of going to this more design where it's just designed to be stacked more, right? And just, huge capacity. And just kind of, it's really more compact in the end, at the end of the day, because of the fact that it can stack, right? And then the cable management as well. So, but yeah, so, here we go. We get the little cart, I guess.
Quick start guide, definitely read it.
All the little stuff.
Most important thing. Commercial flyers, keep it. And a warranty card. You need that too. And one more little detail is that it comes with a little multi-purpose wrench. So you guys can guess what it's for. Let me know.
So we know what that is, MC4.
And finally, the most important thing, or one of two most important things, is an inverter itself. Let's try to pull it out. Oh, yeah, my membership in the gym paid for it, so we got it.
So what's interesting about this, okay, 70 pounds, but there's no battery, right? So that's just the inverter, the control boards, converters, all that stuff, right? So still 70 pounds. But I guess, this thing can do big power. And what's interesting about this, too, that I just kind of found almost funny was that how similar this thing actually looks to that new Goal Zero. As far as, like, the corners being kind of angled on the corners there. And, yeah, it just looks real similar. And this was actually something I talked about in the Yeti 4000 Pro video. I thought it would have just been better to do it exactly the way Ecoflow's done it here, where they just have the inverter and everything separate from any kind of battery. So that thing, it's designed to stack. It's, like I said, the whole system looks real similar, but, if you want the inverter, it's always tied to the battery, so you're always going to have that weight. So I do like that they've separated this, and, again, it's just kind of funny that they look similar. Now this cart, looks, I really like the swivel. It looks like it just rolls and kind of, yeah, just considering how heavy that is, right? So that's 6 kilowatt hours, I believe, is each of the batteries. And then you got the inverter just goes on there, and obviously you can just keep stacking the batteries. So I think that's, what did he say, that was like 100 pounds?
Because the battery is not connected. Let's connect it. Oh, what a bad design. You cannot connect it. It gets in the way. It's actually not.
Oh, that's real nice.
It's a smart design. Those are small drawers.
The covers just pop right back into the unit.
This process
And then, of course, we get the 90-degree cable, which I don't know why it's taken so long to get a 90-degree cable on a lot of these power stations.
A little button. But you can also use,
they have these huge cables.
lock it in place, so there is no way
So
to pull it out.
that seems like a no-brainer, I guess.
Is the moment of truth.
Leave it to Ecoflow.
Turn it on. Ta-da! Works. It's almost fully charged.
And of course, we do get that display screen now too that we've been seeing a lot more of lately. Again, just makes sense. Whenever you're using these power stations, the display screen is almost certainly below your line of sight, right? So it's just having it flat on the front, it's always just made it more difficult to see. You got to bend over, crouch down, whatever to see it. So having it pointed up at you, it's just, you're going to be able to see it much better, right? So
We also have a couple of USB Type A's if you still have some equipment there. And few
So yeah, a couple.
AC to turn on
It's not
the
really.
inverter. We also have DC.
It's not really something you're going to be using for USB, really. I mean, I guess it's nice that they included it.
In here, behind these doors, there are a few interesting things. And let's get started with the...
Now this I'm surprised by. I don't know why they didn't just copy the design from the doors on the side. It must have been that they didn't have room for it, right? I mean,
You can take all of them off, no problem.
with everything that's inside this thing, they didn't have room for it to pop, slide back in. So I think that would have been.
Pretty standard.
I wish they could have made that work. I mean, I don't know how much bigger they would have had to make this thing a little bit taller. Half an inch taller. I don't know.
And we also have
It just would have been really nice to see that. It was kind of weird that there's two different kind of cover doors.
right here, or you guys
And so of course we get 240 and the 120, Either one you want, it's right there in one unit. It's obviously something that people who have the Delta Pro and a lot of the other units that just require some kind of parallel box or connector, right? I mean, it's, just put it in one unit. So, they do have that.
In the app, but still, here's a manual switch just in case. Here is a low voltage PV port. So it's
So low voltage up to 150 volts.
You can run 1,600 watts of solar in here, but low voltage solar, keep in mind. And of course, Anderson port that you guys like so much from the previous generation of Delta Pro. Last door we didn't talk about is this one. It's just a port with one USB A 4G module. So basically what you do, you can get a 4G modem, plug it in, and now your Delta Pro will be connected to the internet, and you can control it from anywhere in the world without Wi-Fi, without Bluetooth, without anything, which is a good thing.
I mean, as long as you have, 4G coverage, I guess. But yeah, almost anywhere.
Not necessarily, but it's an option of having your thing connected. Now let's take a look at what we have here on the side of Delta Pro Ultra. First of all, we do have a high PV port, and this is a port that we have for the very first time. It's MC4 connectors with a hard switch, but the most important thing, the VOC of this port goes up to 450 volts. That gives you
so that's just, obviously if you're going to be hooking up a ton of solar panels together, it's just, it's easier to, not deal with any kind of parallel branch adapters or whatever. Just, go one to another, right? Just chain them all together, but just, be careful with that. For 450 volts.
Obviously, the battery ports to connect the batteries, and you see how well cables are designed, so they're not in the way. They're just very sleek. So you connect one battery here, you connect the next battery, stackable battery here, and you can stack up to 5 batteries under one inverter. And you can connect 3 different inverters to one smart home panel. So this thing goes from 6 kilowatt hours all the way up to 90 kilowatt hours. So it's a power plant. It's a beast. Plus,
Of course, that 90 kilowatt hours.
Video, I asked you what is this
The
little
price on that, I mean,
This is actually for you.
even if you're paying a lot less than $1 a watt hour, right? I don't know. I haven't looked at the prices on these yet, but it's going to be somewhere approaching $1 a watt hour, I think.
Just plug it in.
90 kilowatt hours. Let's say even if it's 70 grand, right? If you wanted to max out this system, that's
You have
without any solar panels, still got to get the solar right, ideally.
And we will tell you more about
Now this is interesting.
video where we're gonna be
They kind of
describing
tease
the whole
this,
unit,
the
showing
cooling.
you what's inside and what it's made of.
Some kind of radiator. I don't know if it's liquid cooling
But for now, I can tell
or
you
what.
it's super efficient, super silent. Nobody has it, and we do have it. So for now, that would be
It probably-
Guys, please
It
subscribe
probably
to our
is. I
channel.
mean,
If
you know,
any questions about Delta
water,
Pro,
the amount of heat that water can absorb compared to air, I don't know what the number is. It's something that's huge. It's like 10 times more, right? So that'd be a good way. Obviously, all high-end computers, cars, you know, that's why they all use
So go ahead
liquid
and
cooling.
join that group. We'll leave the link in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.
So yeah, this is everything, you know, everything you could ask for in a home backup system, right? I mean, I think everything looks good to me, honestly. Everything looks great, except the weight, you know, that'll be coming. That'll be the kind of the next thing to do, right, as the battery technology evolves. But, you know, other than that, you got the cart, you know, if you really need to move it, and then otherwise just kind of leave it stacked wherever. And big power, right? Big power, big output power, big charging specs. It looks good, you know. As long as it's reliable, you know, I wouldn't, as with all of these products, you know, I wouldn't rush out and buy it, right? Maybe wait like 6 months to buy it, but then I would say it's probably going to be a solid product for sure. And you know, as long as you as long as you got the cash for it, you know. So yeah, hopefully this kind of found this. This is kind of like a reaction, overview, review, just taking a look at it really. So hopefully we found it helpful or interesting. And yeah, thanks for watching.